Hello, gamers. Your ears are in the right place. You're listening to I Never Cast for this episode 4. And we are a podcast dedicated to bringing forth discussions on controversial gaming topics and hopefully putting them to rest. And but before we get into that, we are doing something new for the first time on this podcast. We have an extra person that we normally don't have. So we have myself, Keltharr, and joining us again for fifth episode, I guess now. This is episode 4, but we've had episode 0. We have returning Trelard. How's it going, Trelard? His microphone muted, or yeah, Trelard, your microphone is muted.
No, it's not. Okay, let's try this again. The joys of live.
Go for it.
No, things have been going pretty good for me. Just a bit of an update from last week where I complained that Funcom was ripping me off over Conan Exiles.
Yeah.
Well, about them not sending me my t-shirt. Well, guess what came in the mail today?
Nice.
T-shirt.
There it is.
It was only supposed to arrive last May. So, yeah, it's took them a while, but they did deliver. So, yeah, apologies for since last week.
Nice. No worries. Yeah, so that's pretty good. You got that. Also returning from the last 2 weeks, we have Arebus. How's it going, Arebus?
Not bad, you?
He just waved vigorously. Not too bad, not too bad. You're not too dark this time. Last time you were pretty much completely in the darkness, like a true World of Warcraft rogue.
Yes, I'm more like a priest today.
More like a priest indeed. And joining us for the first time on the podcast, let's give a warm welcome to Albondiel, and he's nowhere to be seen. Where is he? There he is.
Hey!
That sounded extremely scary. How's it going, man?
Not too bad. How's yourself?
Okay, the lag is real on his end.
I apologize.
Steve, pause the stream, and then you'll be fine.
I think I'm gonna...
Yeah. Yeah, so Albondiel is joining us for the first time. He is... And I just saw his mouth moving, and I didn't see anything that time. Let's try again. So... that's because he's just messing with me. So you are a gamer, obviously. How long have you been gaming for?
A long time. Let's say probably 20 plus years.
20 plus years, and you're only 16 years old. Wow.
I know, right?
Yeah. He's not actually 16. That was a joke. Cool. Yeah, well, thanks for joining us today, man. We really appreciate having you.
Why did you make Albondiel's logo look like the Sultan from Aladdin?
Thanks, bro.
That's the what?
Anyways, moving on to gaming news.
Yes, and I believe his webcam is still frozen, but anyways, we'll move on from that.
Because I am the Sultan from Aladdin.
Yeah, so technical difficulties aside, we're all, it's all fun. We're all having a good time. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
So, what's new with you guys? Anything exciting?
Well, apart from a t-shirt, no.
So, since we last did the podcast, the only exciting thing that's happened to you is getting a t-shirt. Nice.
Yeah, well, the dog's still keeping me awake at night, so...
Nice.
As I said, not much has changed. As far as gaming, you know what I mean, mostly Secret World Legends, so that's pretty much it.
Nice, cool. Arebus, how about you?
Still playing a lot of PUBG. I still have not got my first win yet. Playing mostly with Atherkis. They added first-person squad servers, so that's what we've been playing the entire time. We've gotten second place a bunch of times and then died to really annoying stuff. So we're still searching for that. They call it chicken dinner when you win. Winner, chicken dinner. So we're still seeking our first win for that game. And then in WoW, I got another legendary this week, the Kil'jaeden Trinket. So that brings me up to like 10 or 11 total legendaries now. So people are pretty mad at me, but I'm enjoying it. And other than that, I haven't done anything. I said it last week I was going to start Deus Ex, but I'm still haven't done that yet. But I will, and I will start playing Chrono Trigger as soon as you give it back to me.
I actually started playing Chrono Trigger, and it's amazing.
So yeah, you're giving it back.
I'd like to finish it before I give it back, because last
you all August 24th.
But see, the problem, See, the problem was I was playing it last time, a long time ago, and I started playing it, and then you stole it from me. So I should just hold on to it this time until I finish it.
The thing is, though, I bought the game and it's mine, so that wins.
That's probably a good point.
And I also want the games right back. That's the other
but you still owe them for River Thieves or whatever.
River Thieves?
It's called River King, a game.
River King. I'm trying to help you.
Oh my goodness, the lag. So this should be an interesting podcast with the constant lag outs from Albondiel's end. But yes, I did buy a game for Arebus way back in the day that he still has yet to pay me back for, and I was about 9 years old at the time. But yeah. And Albondiel, if you're able to get more than 2 words out, what have you been playing and up to this past week?
Oh my god.
This is going fantastically.
Do you have an answer?
I'm probably gonna.
He's probably gonna do something. So, yeah. So yeah. So while we wait for him to figure out his stuff, we'll ask him some stuff after. But before we do that, let's get into let's just move on to some gaming news for the week. So, StarCraft Remastered came out today, and it's amazing. I have been very, very pumped for this game. This game is like one of my favorite games ever. So the fact that I just got released today, I'm really, really pumped. I'm like halfway through the Terran campaign now. So I was playing it a bit before the podcast. It's super pumped. Do you guys plan on buying it, or?
So, is it good?
Not at all.
Whoa.
Oh, you're still there.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but there's no video. But
Yeah, I turned off my videos to see if that would help.
We might just have to deal with no video, but that's not a big deal. But yes, we can hear you. Yes, so yeah, the graphic, like, because you can in the game, it's really cool because you can rotate between the old graphics and the new graphics, and the old graphics look completely terrible. Like,
so they actually brought up that feature we were talking about before that Halo had.
Yeah. Like in the first Halo.
That.
Yeah, no, it's pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
it's sick.
So it is definitely good. The game, in my opinion, still holds up very well. It's very, very fun. So I'm enjoying going through the campaign. You guys play much StarCraft 1 before?
Not at all.
I played a lot of StarCraft 1 with you, and most of our childhood friends played it at some point. So we played a lot of games. I think I first played it on the Nintendo 64, I believe, and then we got the PC version once we got our PCs to a certain spec. But the PC version was infinitely better than the 64 version. Playing on a controller in an RTS is a terrible experience.
And it looked completely terrible too. It's awful.
Yeah.
Damn millennials.
Oh my. Other news, now that Albondiel is here and able to contribute to this, there's a new game that was just was it just announced, I think?
It's released.
It's been announced for a long time. It hasn't been released yet either. It's actually going to be released this fall. It was just released in Japan, I believe, or it's about to be released in Japan. Either.
Oh no!
I'm super excited. Oh, is it getting all choppy again?
It was starting to get choppy yet. Since when do you have internet problems?
Since I'm using a laptop because I needed a webcam.
Do you have it plugged in direct, or?
No, because I can't.
No.
Do you want to?
I'm
Well, if you
going to
just
swap
want my
over.
voice,
We'll
why
just
not switch over to
Switch over to your direct connect, and I'll invite you back if you want, and then we can
I'm going to
just keep
flip
going.
over just so you at least have voice.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll just fix this and edit this, and then
you can edit all this stuff out.
I'll just wait.
Yeah.
So we'll just wait for him to come back.
Okay.
So in other news, Albondiel is very excited for this new game called, what is it, Albondiel?
Fire Emblem Warriors.
What is Fire Emblem Warriors?
It's another game made by Takomi, I believe it's called, or is it Koi? I can't remember. But either way, it's another hack and slash Dynasty Warriors. They have a bunch of Orochi Warriors. They had Hyrule Warriors. It's actually the same makers of Hyrule Warriors coming out. I'm probably one of the few people who actually play them, but I'm a huge fan of the Dynasty Warrior genre just because it's something that's hilariously fun to sit down, hack and slash, and have a laugh with. And on top of it, it actually is quite challenging. But and I'm also just a massive, massive fan of the Fire Emblem Dynasty. There's so many games of it, and it's like a dream game made just for me. Thank you, Nintendo.
Yeah, I've tried playing a few Fire Emblem games. I couldn't really get into them. I probably would like them now. I don't know, because I'm starting to play XCOM a little bit, so they're kind of similar to that, aren't they?
They're very much similar to XCOM, and in a way. And if you don't play on hardcore, then you don't play them properly.
Yeah, I probably should do that. So Fire Emblem Warrior, does it have a release date, did you say?
It just says fall right now of 2017.
So pretty soon.
Should be sometime soon. I think the Japanese one releases in the next couple of weeks. It's very soon. I can't remember the exact date. Like I can only discovered it just in the last day or two and was just like super hyped.
Nice, man.
But I forget the actual meaningful parts of it, we'll say.
Yeah. That's cool though, man.
Thanks, bro.
So there's some more news from Blizzard separate from StarCraft. They are actually renaming Battle.net yet again. So, Trelard, what is going on with that?
Well, as some people might know, Blizzard changed Battle.net to Blizzard Client. And essentially, the fans have come out and they've made their voices heard, and Blizzard made quite the U-turn, quite quickly, in fact, because I believe it was only a couple of months ago that they made the change. But they've currently changed it to a new name, and the full new name is BlizzardBattle.net.
What?
That sounds like the new Xbox.
Yeah, that's... yeah, it seems like a huge waste of resources, time, and everything. Why
they just didn't keep it to Battle.net, I don't know, I'm just confused.
Battle.net, how long has that been around? Like 1996? Something like that?
Yeah. Because they created it as something specific for Diablo, if I recall right.
Yeah.
So it's back in the 90s anyway.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So what is it? BlizzardBattle.net?
Yep. That's the full name of it now.
I mean, yeah, like I guess because Battle.net doesn't really sound like it associates with Blizzard, and then changing it to Blizzard Client, and then now I guess they're like, they miss Battle.net, so they just want to combine the two, but I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. But I mean, like most things, I'm sure we'll just get used to it.
I'm pretty sure you give it 6 months, they'll probably change it to Blizzard Battle.net Client.
Probably.
Yeah. Probably right. There's also some news on For Honor, and that's the game that started out strong and then lost 95% of its player base after, like, what was it, 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was pretty quickly, yeah.
It's pretty quick. So, Trelard, what's going on with For Honor?
Well, over the weekend they had a tournament of sorts, a championship. The grand prize was $10,000. However, now bear in mind this contest was completely run and sanctioned by Ubisoft themselves. The person who won the $10,000 won via abusing an exploit that apparently the fans have been complaining to Ubisoft for months about. And to rub salt into the wound, the guy who won said that he'd been playing the game for less than 2 weeks.
Ouch.
Yeah. Wow. So basically, if this doesn't kill off any competitive dreams Ubisoft might have had for the game, I really don't know what will, because this is a pretty big screw up. A lot of people are unhappy about it.
It's really a shame too, because the fundamentals of the game are fine, but there was glitches with like the character Peacekeeper. I don't know which glitch actually they were using, but there were glitches that lasted way too long in the game and kind of ruined the experience for everybody. I used them myself, actually.
It was the zone glitch.
the zone glitch with Peacekeeper and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm sure there's a new one that was being abused there. But it sucks because the game, and they're making
the exploit that was being used for this one was when somebody uses a certain move, if they unlocked their opponent from combat, then their attacks became unblockable. They couldn't be parried.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Ubisoft because like the game itself is so well. I don't know. I kind of feel bad for them, but the game is
Why
really,
the heck
really good.
would you feel bad for Ubisoft?
I mean, I guess they were trying to make a comeback for the game, and then this happens. So like, is this the nail in the coffin for the game? I don't know because the game.
But the problem is their Reddit page. Nobody listens to them. Like the developers don't listen to that glitch and stuff has been posted. I guarantee for weeks and weeks and weeks, and they take too long to respond to it, and then it just leads the game down a dark path. It's not going to be successful. And it sucks, like you said. They're announcing new games, like there are new modes, new characters, dedicated servers, and everything. So yes, it is a shame that they're not going anywhere with it now.
Yeah, I don't have any pity for Ubisoft because they easily could have fixed their own issues. However, like it is a shame for the game itself because the actual gameplay, other than a lot of the glitches and the like, is actually a fantastic game by itself.
It's like one of the best games I've played in years from a combat perspective.
Yeah, they could have made it into something fantastic.
Yeah. It just failed so hard.
They did. Moving on from that, though, unless there's anything else you guys want to say about that.
Nope.
Good.
There's news with Destiny 2. Now, not really news with Destiny 2, but there's something weird going on with Destiny 2 that Trelard told me about. So what's going on with that?
Okay, it's not Destiny 2. It's actually Destiny, the first one.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was Destiny. Okay.
No, that's what makes this even more confusing. It's been reported in a few sites that apparently over the weekend people have been able to buy silver, which is the in-game currency for Destiny, via Steam. This is confusing just because, well, the game has not been released or even announced for PC at all, but people were able to purchase these for like 1 silver for 1 cent. Since then, though, Valve have refunded everybody their money on it and removed the page where you could actually make the purchase. But the entry is actually still listed in the Steam database, so we're not sure what's going on there. It's, count this as a complete rumor, but is it possible that they're planning on releasing Destiny 1 for PC alongside Destiny 2? I don't know if it's something that they would do, but it's definitely something weird to have currency for a game that doesn't exist.
That is definitely strange, yeah. It would be really weird if they released Destiny 1 on Steam and Destiny 2 on the Blizzard client, or whatever it is now, the BlizzardBattle.net client, whatever it's called. But, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. That's a little strange for sure. Any other news we missed, or anything else that anyone wants to talk about?
No, it's completely dry from my end at this point.
Cool. All right, well, let's get into the topic of the week. So, this week, we're going to talk about something that a few of us are quite passionate about. I think we're actually going to have some disagreements here, which is good, because normally every week we generally agree with each other. But it's going to change this time, because this time we're going to talk about achievements in gaming. Are achievements good for gaming, or are they bad for gaming? Do they ruin gaming entirely, or can they be fun? We'll find out. But let's just first talk about the history of achievements first. So, Trelard, you started playing games in the 80s, correct?
Yep. Back in the early 80s on like the Atari 2600. Yeah. As far as the history of achievements go, some people would argue that they started with simply having high scores in games, in arcade machines. Yeah. It was an achievement of sorts where your name was shown to the world, essentially, for your local area. So that, hey, I'm the best at this game. But as far as we understand achievements, getting something in return, you can look at the Atari 2600, where they did some games like Grand Prix or Pole Position, where if you completed certain things within the game. You had a special screen appear, and you had to take a photo of it, and you sent that photo in, and you got they sent you a patch, basically, to stitch onto your clothing. It wasn't just pole position, there were other games like that as well. Then, of course, a wee bit later than that, you've got the Commodore 64, and you've got the game Elite, where if you attained the rank of Elite in the game, and you basically sent off proof that you had achieved it, the company who developed the game sent you back a steel badge. And pretty much that's the way achievements went for many years, up until some would argue 2005, where Xbox 360 was released, and we suddenly had the achievements as we know them today, where you get a gamer score, points. That's basically where the modern achievements come from.
Oh, okay. And that's, yes, and like you said with the Xbox, that's the achievements I'm probably most familiar with, Gamerscore, and I know PlayStation has their trophy system, and Steam, somewhat recently, I think within the past 5 years or so, or I could be wrong, but has started with their achievements as well. Nintendo, I don't believe, have jumped on the achievement bandwagon. I don't think they have any sort of achievements. I could be wrong again, but yeah, so like you were saying, achievements haven't really been around until 2005, besides where you would mail in something and get some kind of reward from the developer.
Yeah.
But since achievements have come into play, have they changed how gamers play games, do you think? We'll go to Arebus or Albondiel. I guess whoever wants to take that. What do you guys think?
You go ahead, Albondiel.
I believe it's changed the way some gamers play games, but certainly not all.
Okay. How has it changed for some gamers?
There's some gamers who do, like yourself in the past, although you seem to have gotten a bit out of it in recent days, we'll say, will play games solely for hunting achievements. The whole purpose of what they're doing, is to purely get an achievement from a certain game, playing games they don't like because they want a certain achievement, or doing a certain activity in a game because they want to get an achievement. They're to 100% complete a game. But fundamentally, I don't think this has changed the way gamers play, because it's always been a thing. Beating all the dungeons in the original Zelda was something that long before achievements existed. But you didn't have to do all the dungeons. It's just there wasn't always a reason for stuff, and people even did it before then.
Okay, but is there anything wrong necessarily with wanting to do all the dungeons in Zelda, for example?
As long as it makes you happy, go right ahead and do what you want. However, if you're doing it and you're hating your life doing it, that's just a really poor decision.
Okay. Yeah, you make some good points there. Arebus, what do you think?
Achievements are probably the greatest tragedy of the past 50 years in gaming.
Oh,
Wow.
50 years period.
50 years in gaming.
Well,
Has gaming been around for 50 years?
The entire history of games, I can think of no worse thing that has been added to games.
Really?
And the reason for that is achievements really are pointing out the flaw of human beings, in the sense that people have addictive personalities naturally. I know that some of us can control that, some of us can't. But while I think the idea of achievements are good, I think the idea of achievements is actually a wonderful thing and helps structure a playthrough experience if they're designed correctly. I think as we get more into this discussion, far too many developers have been lazy with achievements, have created unnecessary achievements, and the achievement system has kind of morphed into its own thing, where people are going out and buying games specifically for achievements, or avoiding games that don't have an achievement setup that they want. Probably the biggest thing of this that I've seen, I haven't seen it as much on Steam that I've seen personally, but the gamer score issue, and Keltharr can attest to this himself, has really roped people into being addicted to playing games they may not otherwise play, but just want to get the achievement and be done with the game. And they're playing it much longer than they intended to. To Steve's point, or to Albondiel's point about finishing dungeons in Zelda. For me, I was the same way when I was younger. I wanted to complete certain things in games, but I did that for me. I did that for intrinsic motivators. I didn't do it because there was a digit on a screen that told me I would get, a certain score or whatever for it. I just did it because I wanted to do it, and if I was bored, I would move on to the next game. I didn't feel any obligation to play it. And I think achievements, again, are designed with good intentions, but have kind of morphed over the years into something that I don't like and wish was not in games at all.
Right. Okay, so if you're having fun playing the game, and there's an achievement in there that you're having fun trying to get, do you think there's anything wrong with that? Or do you think the achievement just shouldn't be there at all?
I don't think the achievement should be there at all. I think achievements are there to handhold you through the gaming experience, and gaming is an art form. Gaming is in the same categories as movies and television and other types of art. Do we have achievements? Maybe there are achievements on Netflix. I don't know. But do we have achievements for every show that we watch, or how fast we watch a series, or how fast? Like, there's nothing in
badges Netflix for when you.
Okay, well, that's
shows for so long.
I can't even talk right now. That's
there are. It's like watch 5 episodes in a row or something like that.
Okay, so I didn't even see that, but if I did, that would just make me angry. Now I want to unsubscribe from Netflix. But anyways, that's a whole other problem. But that kind of stuff is just insane to me, like that you can't just enjoy the experience. And I probably sound like an old man talking about this because younger gamers that came up probably have had achievements the entire time. But I really don't I really don't see them as necessary. I don't think they add any value to the experience.
Okay. Yeah, you make some good points too, but let's I know you hate.
Can I jump in and completely disagree with that?
You're welcome to.
Or would you like to move on?
Okay. You say what you want to say first, and then I'll move on.
I completely disagree with that. I don't believe that achievements have ruined gaming at all. I will agree with the fact that that there are definitely some achievements out there that are, I'll say, developers really that have ruined games and other things by making silly achievements and things like, even with Call of Duty. I'll remember one of the first games I played much with achievements where they used to have like to get a golden gun, you had to shoot I think it was some kind of mine through a wall and kill someone. Like, that was the dumbest thing ever. You're never gonna, or very rarely gonna actually do that. You're gonna go into a game custom with someone just to sake to get it. Like, that's just dumb as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. However, I strongly disagree that they have ruined gaming. Like, for example, we all play a lot of World of Warcraft. I really enjoy when there's I'll use the Warden mount. That was a really cool mount that they only put in the game by completing a certain dungeon, a raid on a certain difficulty, and now it's gone. No one else can get it anymore. That's cool. With it, the achievement of being to do that, to show that you had that, you wouldn't have it. I think World of Warcraft is actually one of the best games when it comes to achievements because of how they set them up. They usually give a reward for accomplishing the task.
Right.
However, certainly, there are some games who have ruined it. I think it's more the developers who have ruined achievements than it is that achievements have ruined games.
So I think, go ahead.
I was just going to say that was going to lead into my point anyway. I was just going to say, so, like, what are some good examples of achievements? And you already said that, really. You said World of Warcraft has one where you do an achievement and you get something for it. So I guess we can agree that a good example of an achievement is when you get a reward, whether it's a tangible reward, like Willie said Trelard back in the 80s, or when you get mail into the developers and they give you something, or a digital reward where you get, like, a cool pet or a mount or maybe like a skin or avatar or something like that. But yeah, what's your point?
Right. So you can say we can agree, but just don't put we as me, because we here don't agree. So the problem with that system. So if I understand the topic correctly, the topic is, are achievements bad for gaming? I love. Let's clarify here. I love achievements in WoW. I love doing the achievements in WoW. I love unlocking the mounts, like Steve said. I love getting all of the different things, going to a raid, having to get these specific achievements and get a tangible reward. I'll differentiate between the two. Getting tangible rewards in games, is something that I really enjoy. I don't agree with gamer score and people just adding to a number on the Xbox and not getting anything for it and playing a game that they hate. But are achievements bad for gaming? I would much prefer achievements to be removed from World of Warcraft if it meant achievements were wiped off the face of the earth. And the reason for that is I think achievements generally have brought out a gaming culture that is terrible for gaming. The kids coming up in today's gaming world are so addicted to achievements on their phones. Apparently this Netflix badge thing. So that means people are probably watching shows that they don't even want to watch just to get a freaking badge for their Netflix account, which, anyways, I can't even go into that. That's just making me angry. But the thing with WoW that I don't like with achievements are people actually pay people real money to unlock achievements for like a raid or for a Mythic Plus or for a different dungeon in order for them to have the achievement, which is a requirement by guilds or other places to get into said raid. So again, I like achievements in WoW, but I think what it's creating in terms of gamers and younger gamers coming up is damaging the player base and the gaming community as a whole.
To be fair, that is against the Blizzard terms of service. If you pay someone real money to do something in the game, you'll get banned.
But it's
realistically,
rampant.
before that though, there was tons of people doing things like paying for WoW Gold, paying for runs of certain dungeons to get certain gear. Like you had to remove the achievement has very little to do with it. It's more to do with the reward than it is even to do with the achievement for a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
So you had to remove basically anything that requires a challenge from the game, basically, in order to fix that problem. Because the things that are, for the most part, that people are paying for are things that are difficult to get. So like you basically would have to create a game that isn't challenging. I think the better solution to that would, rather than
a lot of people say Vanilla WoW was the best version of WoW. Vanilla WoW didn't have achievements. There was no achievements in Vanilla WoW.
Yeah, but there were still people doing things like buying and paying for runs to get the Phoenix mount.
Sure. Exactly.
Well, that's actually vanilla.
That's my point. But that stuff still existed before. So what is the value that achievements are adding?
But I get. Are you saying an achievement is like literally a wall of text that goes like Bing and it clearly states that you did something, or is it still an achievement when you go out in a game and do something and then you get a reward for it? Like
no, exactly. Like no, that's still an achievement. But I'm just saying in terms of tracking your achievement score in WoW, or people going on and saying, hey, I have 15,000 achievement score and you only have 9,000 achievement score. I think all of that stuff doesn't add any value. Yes, having a reward to do a dungeon and get a mount as a reward, fine. Like they can structure away. Like I said, I like it. I think it's great. I think it's an awesome system. Don't get me wrong. I think the achievements in WoW is an awesome feature. I'm just saying for gaming itself, and because of the flaws of addictive personalities and different things like that, I think it's done more damage than more good.
So you're saying
we're focusing a lot on WoW here, but like just in general.
So in MMOs, achievements are good. Are you saying that?
Achievements in MMOs are good. I still don't think they should exist because people just can't deal with them. I just don't think. I think the addictive personalities that people have for achievements has caused achievements to go down a path that people are just it's gotten out of hand, where people are just too addicted to them and not focused on the game itself.
Yeah. Trelard, we haven't heard from you in a while. Where do you stand on this?
Well, as far as achievements go, they can be good and they can be bad. The good is, of course, when you actually get something for your efforts instead of just hey, well done, here's some points to go into your bag or whatever. The good is basically just something tangible that you can use in the game, something that makes it a bit more enjoyable, even if it is just something as a silly amount that looks cool. You know what I mean? Gets you from A to B. At least it gives you something better to look at on the screen as you're playing. But I do agree with Arebus that the whole aspect of achievements just for the sake of it is, I don't know, you don't get anything for it. Now, don't get me wrong, if it happens in the course of you playing the game and an achievement pops up just through playing normally or whatever, then yeah, great. You know what I mean? You've gotten something just for doing something you would have been doing anyway. But if it's once achievements start detracting from the enjoyment of the game itself, and starts feeling like a chore, at which point the developers, I think, need to start reining back, instead of just creating achievements just because, and start creating achievements that actually mean something, that actually do have proper bragging rights attached to them.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think we can. For the most part, Arebus, you're kind of in the middle, I suppose. But I think we can overall agree that if the achievement gives some kind of reward, whether it's tangible or digital, if you do something in a game and you get a mount or a skin or something, it's a good thing. It can be a good thing in a game, especially MMOs. But I think it can be a good thing. Let's move on to some really bad examples. So we said a few already, but another one I can think of is the original Assassin's Creed, and the game was really fun, but there was an achievement in there to collect, I think it was 100 flags. Is that right? Anyone else play Assassin's Creed? First one?
Yeah, it was 100 flags, and there were the problem with that achievement was, and yes, I'm guilty of trying to get it myself. They ended up putting these things in the game, but the problem was there's nothing on the map to tell you where these things are, so you're completely blind. And if you started collecting them, and then decided to look up in a guide or whatever for something more, mm-hmm. then you didn't know which ones you collected and which ones you didn't. In which case, it became a lesson in futility of trying to get these. Eventually, I just gave up because, well, they just weren't done. It wasn't implemented properly, as far as I'm concerned. They did fix that somewhat with the later Assassin's Creed games. They did have similar collections, but they at least added their locations on a map, which made things a whole lot easier.
But like to me, that game especially is about going around killing a bunch of guys or exploring different places and stealthing around, and like that's what the game is about to me. But just inserting that type of achievement that says find these 100 flags, that is not even remotely fun. It's just literally beating your head against the wall, just to like almost be a time sink. And like to me, it's almost like the developers are using that just to make you keep playing the game when you otherwise wouldn't really want to. And I guess Arebus, I remember you saying that before, that if some achievements are there just so you keep playing the game, even if it's just literally pointless, right?
Yeah, so I guess the reason I'm so passionate about this topic is there's kind of a couple things. One would be the gamer score. Let's go to the gamer score thing where unnecessary things are in the game. So yes, there's two things. There's the gamer score in games that make you want to play the game and finish it and probably go play it much longer than you intended to, which some people say add to the longevity of the game. I question whether they're actually enjoying the game going through that process. It's a passionate topic for me because you, as an example, Keltharr, we had sometimes issues playing with you on Steam or playing with you on PC because you were literally saying this game doesn't have gamer score, I don't want to play it. So that to me is a red flag right there in terms of the gamer score argument versus whatever. To more of your point right now about the monotonous stuff, I've used this example before, but basically there's achievement hunter websites out there and different things that people actually look for deals on games that have achievements where they have no interest in playing it. So I've used the example before of this Barbie ocean discovery, clam discovery, shell finder, metal detector game where you basically play the game, and this isn't a real game. In case any of you achievement hunters are looking for an easy game, this is not real. But basically, if you went out and we're searching the entire ocean for all of these clams in this terribly designed game where developers rewarded a ridiculous amount of gamer score if you found 10 billion clams, and the first person that found it would get a world first achievement in the game. There are people out there. I know most of us wouldn't play such a travesty of a game, but there are people out there that are so addicted to achievements that would abandon all other games just to try to be the first person to get Clam World first, which I don't think is at all a value to gaming. So there's lots of games out there that have, like you said about this Assassin's Creed thing, where it's just lazy achievements. So I think somebody mentioned before about some of the onus being placed on the developers, and we've mentioned that in other topics about the onus being placed on the developers. And I think there should be some control mechanisms, as I said last week, with respect to the other topic we were talking about. But this week, with respect to the onus maybe being on Steam, maybe being on Xbox, to force developers to have achievements that aren't monotonous and boring, and that actually have to be, I don't know, approved, or have to have a certain threshold to make it through. Because a lot of these developers are developing, achievements where they make a kind of a lackluster game, and they're like, okay, should we add more content to this game? No, I think we're not going to add more content. We'll just tell them to replay this game 5 times on 5 different difficulties, get 5 different achievements, and collect 1,000 of this item. And that'll add 50 hours to the game, so we don't need to put more content in. And I think over time, that's going to cause games to develop into something that we don't want to see.
Yeah. No, you make a good point. Yeah, go on.
I think to counter that, you're talking about the onus, people being addicted to collecting these things. My argument to that would be what happened to personal responsibility. These people basically have themselves to look after. The developers aren't nannies. They're not there to look after people. They're there. It's a business. They're there to make money. But to say that it's up to them to, get people to,
Right.
curb their addictions. I don't know. For me, that's wrong.
So again, I disagree with you completely. So again, the topic is, are achievements bad for gaming? So if the onus is on the developers to develop good achievements for the game, so that people don't get addicted to just going through these monotonous achievements, and yes, they can solve their own things. It's a dangerous path to go to say that the onus is on the consumer to ignore these bad achievements, because if the developer if there's an incentive or a profit incentive for the developer to make less of a game and more achievements, that's bad for all of us. For me, I don't like achievements in most games. I like them in WoW, but I don't like them in most games. So if I'm going to play the next Deus Ex game, and because it's made by Square Enix and they're a profit-driven company, and they decide, hey, we're going to make a 20-hour game instead of a 50-hour game because we can make it quicker, get it out quicker, but we're going to put these achievements in that are, incentivized, playing through 5 or 6 times and finding all these hidden items and all this different stuff, but we're going to make a smaller world, a smaller story. I hate that. And if the onus is on me to just ignore it and say, I'll just, use my own, discretion and move on to the next game, and I won't chase those achievements. But it's impacting that's my point, is I'm worried it's going to impact my favorite games.
But I think the overall point is that if people didn't complete these achievements, then basically the developers would spend less time in the achievements and more time on the games themselves. So it is down to the consumers themselves. They're the ones who are voting. They're the ones voting with their wallets. They're buying the game. But if nobody's completing these achievements, then that's going to tell the developers something, and it's going to tell the publisher something that this isn't something that they're going to find.
So I guess, yeah, okay.
Find enjoyable.
I see your point. I guess it's like, can we fix the inherent flaws that exist across the human race, or can we hold the developers to be more accountable with achievements? Which one's the more difficult task? And I think no matter what we say, yes, putting the onus on the consumer is, if consumers wouldn't buy the game. So if you're saying basically put the onus on me to say, hey, they're putting these stupid, cheap achievements in the game, I'm just not going to buy Deus Ex. I'm not going to give it a
I would argue, like, throw it out there, for example, I believe it was Avatar: The Last Airbender had a pretty bad game for the Xbox that had a lot of really achievements to give a lot of gamer score. However, the sales for that game still did terrible.
I think it was just Avatar, wasn't it? I don't even think it was Last Airbender. I think it was the Avatar movie.
I might be mixing it up, obviously. But one of the Avatar named games, either way, had a lot of easy achievements in it. And yes, sure, some people bought the game to get those achievements, no problem, to get their gamer score up. It was a widespread or a very widely known thing that people used to buy the game purely for achievements. However, it did not do well in sales, which would be the exact opposite of your point, Mark, I believe. It's because if these games were in danger of creating the problem that you think may or does exist, then we would see a lot more people like games like that have high achievements selling well, but they actually do the exact opposite and sell really, really poorly, unless the game itself is still good. Like, for example, Assassin's Creed had some pretty terrible achievements, as we said, but the Assassin's Creed games still sold really well. Halo actually had some neat achievements where you could find the skulls, which altered gameplay, which some of them were in really messed up places. I did some of that myself, but not a lot. But almost every game in existence has had some form of secret ways you could do things, or different things you could get by doing something weird or strange. Achievements kind of came around and made these things more talked about or known. I wish I was. There are some examples I can think of in my head right now but I can't put my names on the games. Just little things you could figure out. Like, I think Mortal Kombat did it a lot in their older games, of different styles of fatalities you could do by pressing different key codes of buttons and little things like that, which isn't really an achievement, don't get me wrong. However, it's all about having that hidden factor of a little Easter egg that people who really love the game will seek after. I don't think like I said from the start, I don't think achievements are necessarily bad for gaming, because we haven't seen any of these things that, like you're saying, you're afraid of, where games are, in fact, we're seeing the exact opposite of games that aren't, especially lately, games that are releasing and having errors are actually doing horrible. Unless the game's actually worth playing, with such a high amount of social media and interaction and the evolution, I'll say, of the internet now. Immediately, if a game tanks, is no good and people buy it, it's immediately released over everything and it just gets boycotted entirely. I don't think we're in danger ever personally of achievements ruining games. In fact, I would almost say we're on the other side of that already. When the Xbox first came out and had all these achievements, everyone was super, like yourself, Keltharr yourself, like you said, really interested in getting achievements for a while. But it happens for some people, but it gets old. However, things like going back and getting the Ironbound Proto-Drake in World of Warcraft, sorry to listeners who aren't familiar, but it's just achievements you can go back and do to get stuff still exist, and still a little thing you can do to add some. I think they add some what's the word I'm looking for? Extra Easter eggs is really what it is to games. Extra enhancements of things you can do that, if you feel like you've got some time sitting around and you want to go get that rare mount or that costume. Dynasty Warriors has a ton of them. But like games that I'm familiar with, then there's certain characters you can only unlock in some games by doing certain things different ways, and without spoiling. Back in the days of Knights of the Old Republic, you can only unlock certain characters by doing certain things a certain way. It's kind of like the evolution of achievements from back in the day, where they came from, is all these secret things you could do that were different from the base game itself to unlock different paths or different things in the game. I just think they've evolved and have just become, instead of me sitting home and saying, "Hey, Mark, Arebus, I found out that you can unlock this costume by or this. Hey, like I told you that skin today, this new skin for the Fangs of Ashmain. It's a thing in the game that's already posted worldwide, and this is how you get it, and it's got a challenge for how you do it. There's definitely are some flaws. Don't get me wrong. I definitely don't think it's a perfect system. I think there's definitely some onus does go back on developers and players to not get too involved after chasing these things and spending hours and hours. Like, I'll use the Time Lost Proto-Drake as a famous example, a super rare mount from back in the day that people spent hours and hours and hours camping out in the spot watching to see if it would run by so they could kill it. That was stupid, but at the same time, the minuscule amount of people who actually did that are the same people who, if there wasn't that to do, they would be sitting and doing a hardcore raid or something that is still just part of the game anyway. Addictive personality is the whole point of addictive personality, or problem I'll say with addictive personality, is that you will always find something to be an addict to. We have a good buddy who might be listening now, actually, who went from being a video game addict to being a workout addict to being addictive personality. You just jump from thing to thing. There's never going to be a world where that personality doesn't have a problem. It's considered an issue, more or less, as long as you're putting it to as long as you're not putting it to a good purpose. Like some people, addicted personalities do perform super well in their jobs because they're addicted to performing well. It's all the same thing. But in the end, I think having these achievements and things to work towards in a game, I don't think is bad, because it enhances gameplay for most people, like myself. I can easily get addicted to a game or a book or a whatever, but the minute it stops being fun, you just quit.
I think that's what it comes down to. Like, as long as you're having fun, then it's good. Because I'll use myself as an example, because I know you guys have mentioned it a few times about me and my old days on Xbox and only playing Xbox to get achievements. I remember I first wanted to get an Xbox 360 because I found out that Banjo-Kazooie was released on it, with it in HD and all that. And Banjo-Kazooie is a game from the N64, so it was released on the Xbox 360 remastered, and I was like, holy crap, I'm really pumped, I want to get this game. So anyway, I bought a 360 and got it, and I was obsessed with getting the achievements for the game. I was like, this is so cool, I can beat Banjo-Kazooie, get all these achievements, and I did. I got all the achievements for the game, and it felt really good. But I had a ton of fun getting those achievements, because the achievements in the game were like collect all the thing. Like, the way the game is, it's a collect-a-thon game. It's a big treasure hunt is what it is, and I really like those games, and I really enjoyed going it, because that's what the game is about. It's about collecting, so the achievements linked with that, and the achievements really went well with the game. And another game like that is Tomb Raider. I really enjoyed the reboot Tomb Raider. It came out in 2013, I believe. And that game has a lot of collecting too, and there's achievements in the game that specifically say collect all the collectibles in the game. So I did that. I got 100% collectibles, but I had a blast doing it the whole time. Now, if I was beating my head against the wall and hating my life and being like, man, I wish I could play something else, but no, I have to get all these achievements, then yes, I could see that being a problem. Or if there were certain achievements like kill 10 enemies at one time with one arrow or something, and if I spent like a full day trying to do that, then yeah, that's probably an issue, right? But I think as long as you're enjoying yourself, then I don't personally see a huge issue with it, right? You have a rebuttal for that, Arebus?
Well,
I'm sure he does.
I do. Albondiel went on to a lot of stuff, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint.
Sorry.
Exactly. No, it's fine. It was good. I respected what you said there. I think my biggest issue with achievements, now I'm thinking more about it, is, and maybe this is something we can agree on that could maybe alleviate some of the problems, but, and I'm just reading through some Reddit comments here and just thinking to make sure I'm not the only one that thinks this, because it's like, it is a widespread thing, and people have actually said it's ruined their gaming experiences as well. So what other people are saying, and what I would agree with, is when achievements are in games, it generally changes in some cases, and maybe you guys are saying it doesn't for you guys and you have stronger willpower, but I know for me it's hard, is when there's achievements in games that you are trying to get as you go along your first playthrough of a game. And a lot of people say it ruins their approach to the game, because normally you'd sit down, in a relaxing environment, sit back, wife's out of the house, whatever, and you're just sitting back and you're just going to play through the story, take in the game naturally as it was intended to be taken. And a lot of people say because of the achievement system, and again, it's a human flaw. I understand that. I understand that people can just ignore this if they could, but I'm just saying in a general principle, people just have those personalities that cause them to be OCD or addicted or whatever you want to call it. But people have to, repeat a certain section of a game because there's an achievement for that section. Maybe there's 10 pages in an area that you need to find, and they found 7 of them. And instead of continuing to progress naturally through the game and the story, they don't get those 10 pages, so they reset and they try to get the 10 pages, reset, try to get the 10 pages, or whatever it is they're trying to do. And it interrupts the way the developers meant the game to be played from a story perspective. So I think that maybe for something for me that I'd like to see is maybe the achievement system unlocked after you play through. I'm just talking about a single player game right now, obviously, but if you're playing through a single player game, the achievement system, not visible, not there. And again, I know you could just ignore it the first time through. I get that. There's a way to disable achievements popping up on your screen. I'm just saying, in general, some people, they see those achievements and they have to do them. And if they weren't there, they'd be better gamers. They'd be happier playing the game that they're playing. But just because of the way human beings are and the way people are, they can't. They see those achievements, they have to do it, and it just ruins their thing to the game. And I'm reading through Reddit posts here. I'm not making this up. Like, I'm reading through here, and people are saying, like, I can't play games with certain achievements, or I can't. Like, there's people that, like, said it's ruined their single player experiences to games. So, and people just, one guy says, I have a highly compulsive side and achievements, and a part of me wants to get all the achievements. And I feel like I failed if I don't, or simply can't, which is often the case, either due to difficulty or accessibility. Generally, achievements now feel like they are part of the core experience of the game, and it's causing a problem for me in my gaming experience. So like, there's people that just have that, a certain personality. So that's why I'm kind of saying, in general, I think achievements are bad for gaming. I like them. I think they're awesome for certain games. I just, it's hard for me to endorse them when I just.
Yeah.
And I think it's taking advantage of the human element, and I think developers have recognized that and put lazy achievements into games. And it kind of ties in. And again, this is a different topic for a different week, but I think the microtransaction thing that we'll probably get into another time. I think games like that. So like Steve or Albondiel said that games are getting better, and used a couple of examples there. I also have examples of games that have gotten worse, and I think they've gotten worse because of the lazy achievement design, the microtransactions, and different things that have lessened the experience. Lots of games, if we think about to when we were younger, had 30, 40, 50, 60-hour experiences on the games. The average story of a FPS or of another game right now is what? A lot of games are 5, 6, 10 hours, most for a lot of games, but claim that they're longer because they have so many achievements in them and have reduced the content. We could argue whether the achievement system is to blame for that or if it's something else or a combination of both. But I really do think that achievements have some type of contributing factor to lessening the quality of the game. Maybe it's still a good game, but it's definitely shorter. I'm sure if we look at trends, that games have been getting shorter over the years.
Yeah. And there is a game I can think of that when I was obsessed with achievements, I started playing Dead Space on Xbox, and I hated every second of it. I absolutely hated the game. And there was an achievement in the game that says beat the game on the hardest difficulty. So I picked hard, and I went through it. I got to like the second last mission or something, and it took me forever. Like, I was really brutally hard, and I absolutely couldn't stand it. It was terrible. But anyway, I looked up the achievement after, and I realized that hard was not the hardest difficulty, because after you beat the game on hard, it unlocks the hardest difficulty after that. So I would have had to play through the game again, which I already hated, on the absolute hardest difficulty. And I think that was the start of me getting away from achievements. I'm like, I think that's when I started to it started to click in my head, where I was like, yeah, this is a little ridiculous. I'm playing a game that I absolutely hate just to get a few numbers in my gamer score. And there's some achievements I do like to get still, but I've realized that as I've strayed more from achievements, I've actually really enjoyed gaming more as a whole. And I know what you're saying with looking at achievements beforehand and all that. Like, if I had done that with Life is Strange, for example, like Life is Strange is the game I showed Arebus a while ago, and Trelard, I believe you've played through it as well?
Yep.
Yeah.
Played it, completed it.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game, but if I had looked at the achievements beforehand, that would have ruined everything, because I would have looked at a guide and had to take away from the full experience by trying to go out of my way to take certain pictures of something or say a certain thing to somebody or something. Like, that would have ruined the game entirely and completely ruined immersion, in my opinion. So I've learned to have a lot more fun with games. Like, even in StarCraft Remastered right now, I'm just going through the missions. I don't need to do anything specific in these missions. I'm just going through them, doing them how I please, and that's fine. So I think that's the funnest way to do it, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not sure what else we can say about this. I don't think we're going to agree on anything.
I think we've beaten the dead horse to death.
Yeah. So, is there any other, before we move on to final verdicts, is there any other points you guys want to throw out?
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
They're terrible. They're just terrible.
They're terrible. Okay. Final verdicts. Are achievements good for gaming, or do they completely ruin gaming? And try to have as one-sided an answer as you can, but you can touch on both sides. But let's start. We'll start with Trelard. So Trelard, what do you think? Try not to have too neutral of an answer, because I know you are. I know you kind of fall in the middle. But what is your complete, honest opinion?
My honest opinion is that it has the potential for good. It also has potential for bad. For me, I totally despise pointless achievements. You know what I mean? Just pointless in the sense that, okay, collect 1,000 bird feathers, and they're scattered all over a map, and you don't actually have a map to revert to. It's like, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? My time's worth more than that. Whereas other achievements, as has been mentioned, I've been playing Secret World Legends. I actually got a mount as far as an achievement went, and it was like, hey, I wasn't even expecting that as a reward because, well, it was one of those side missions that I didn't actually read the requirements for. But once I got it, I thought, hey, cool. You know what I mean? I've got something that I can mess about with. But I don't actively go out looking for achievements myself. If they pop up during the lifetime of the game as I'm playing it, awesome. If not, then I'm not going to lose any sleep over it either.
Right. And I would agree with that. If there are some achievements I've gotten in the past where I'll play a game and blow up 10 enemies at once with a bomb, and then an achievement pops up saying you killed 10 enemies with a bomb. So I think that's cool when you're not trying to get it and one pops up. But that's my opinion. Albondiel, what do you think? What's your opinion?
I do not think achievements are bad for games. I think it's bad developers who cause problems with achievements that is bad for gaming.
Right. So, okay, so you're saying achievements theoretically are good, but it's developers that are making bad ones?
There are developers, just like you guys had on your last week's podcast, which is available to watch for anyone who's just joining us. And shameless plug. However, I think, like you guys said last week on your episode, that there are achievements that last week's episode was largely decided at the end of it was it's developers like who use things like alpha releases and stuff to buy to fund their games. If there's a developer who's using achievements just to try and make people play their game, it's not going to work, or at least we hope it wouldn't work. I think it's those kind of developers who are causing the issues rather than the achievements themselves.
Yes, because if a developer was advertising their game saying, this game has tons of really easy achievements, come get it to boost your gamer score, yeah, that would be kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Whereas...
the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah. Like, I think, if a game has achievements that are really, really tough, and you get an achievement that is really, really tough, and you want to kind of show it off to your friends, I mean, that's a whole other argument, too, about being social media and wanting to get an achievement to show off for your friends and stuff, but, like, really... I don't know where I'm going with this. Arebus, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think achievements are bad. I think the extrinsic award piece is probably the biggest driving factor. I think we're talking about that it's ridiculous to think that games will be promoted as having achievements or get this many achievements in only 30 minutes. We say that now, but I bet you if we talked 10 years ago about achievements, it would have sounded just as ridiculous. Just like likes on Facebook, or how social media has gone with this whole like validation thing of having to achieve do something and then get somebody to like it to show that you've done something. I really think that there's gamers out there that won't. I think it's damaging for the developers in terms of seeing their full games, or for people that have actually worked on the game and don't have anything to do with the achievement system and want people to experience the game a certain way. I think it's just if Fallout 3 defines to you completion of the game, and it's only one of the achievements is only to explore half the map and do half of the missions, and then you get 100% completion of the achievements. Me and Albondiel maybe disagree with this, and that the gamers wouldn't be motivated by this. I know there's a lot of gamers out there that'll get 100% achievement in Fallout 3, probably be enjoying the game, but are so addicted to achievements that they'll just move on to the next game because they've already achieved everything, even though they've only experienced 50% of the game. So I just really think, again, for people if people message me after this, I like achievements. Do I think it's good for gaming? No. I think if we have this conversation, maybe we can have this conversation if the podcast lasts that long and we go, have a conversation 5 years from now, I'll be very curious to see how the quality of games goes. I think it's unacceptable that games are designed now with 5 to 10 hour, campaigns, and the excuse is that they have replayability and different things like that. I think that's ridiculous. When we were kids in Super Nintendo and 64 had 20, 30 hour campaigns. So, anyways, I'm rambling a little bit, but basically, I think achievements for the most part bad for gaming. Exceptions to the rule are rewards, tangible rewards in game, group awards with your friends. I think that encourage social gaming. But for the most part, I think achievements would be better left out of gaming.
Okay. And as for me, I think achievements can be bad, depending on the achievement. If developers are putting achievements in the game that are literally there just for you to spend more time in the game, but you're not enjoying yourself, that's a problem. But I really like statistic-based achievements, whereas if it's like collect every collectible or explore the whole map, or if there was 25 missions in the game, like Forza Horizon 3 has 68 event missions or something like that. And I kind of want to do all 68 because you're having fun, and that's literally what the game is. You're completing races and having fun trying to get it. Or in Shadow of Mordor, there's a bunch of side missions, like 24 outcast missions you can do. So like that is part of the game. You're literally having fun. You're not doing something completely separate. Like there's nothing that says like jump 10,000 times, and that would just be ridiculous. Like, so I think if the achievements in the game are actually still focus on the core gameplay of the game, then I think they're okay. But ones that take away from the gameplay should have absolutely nothing to do with gaming.
And these games go viral, right? Like, this isn't really to do with achievements, but like Daddy's Taking a Shower or whatever that game was on Steam went viral and sold millions of copies because somehow it went viral. It was a terrible game, but Willie probably knows about that, but like there was these terrible games that go viral for whatever. Goat Simulator, all these random stupid games that, if we talked about this a couple years ago, no way a Goat Simulator game would be a top seller on Steam, but it was. So people are weird. People buy weird stuff. People are motivated by weird stuff. So I don't think we should get lost. I'll conclude. I know I'm rambling. Podcast's gone too long, but I will talk about one thing very quickly. It is called the over-justification effect. It's a real phenomenon. It's a real psychological problem that affects millions of people. The over-justification effect occurs when an expected external incentive, such as money or prizes, decreases a person's intrinsic motivation to perform a task. The overall effect of offering a reward for a previously unrewarded activity is a shift to extrinsic motivation and the undetermining of pre-existing intrinsic motivation. Once rewards are no longer offered, interest in the activity is lost, prior intrinsic motivation does not return, and extrinsic rewards must be continuously offered as motivation to sustain the activity. This affects millions of people.
So in English, that means what?
It means that people need extrinsic motivators to be motivated to accomplish a task.
Yes,
and that,
I hear you.
So yes, I think that is a problem that we need.
Well, it's like with kids. Like you say, tell them to do the dishes, and they won't. You'd be like, "Okay, well, if you do the dishes, I'll give you a piece of candy," and then boom, they go to the dishes because there's an extrinsic motivation. Yes, but in gaming, yes, gaming should be intrinsic as a whole because it is a fun activity. You shouldn't be enticed to do something fun or something in a game just for that. Yeah. I hear you. That was a pretty good definition you came up from the top of your head. That was pretty well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I feel as though Arebus and I will have further conversations about this later.
Yeah.
We will, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And Trelard, I saw you laughing. I didn't hear you laughing. I don't know if your microphone is muted or something. But
it was muted, yeah.
Yes, but you were. I could tell you were enjoying that very much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think we pretty much beat this topic to death now. So let's move on to some gaming deals. So what can we blow our money on, Trelard?
First of all,
I hear you can buy achievements.
It'll happen. It will happen.
Yeah.
Oh, eventually. Firstly, bundlestars.com have a summer sale on right now. A few of the games that I've picked out that I've actually played and thought that they were pretty good deals. The first one is Rise, Son of Rome. It started out as an Xbox One title. It used the Kinect system, where you can actually use the voice commands to order certain things to happen within the game itself. But it's for sale, the PC version, for $5.49 over at Bundle Stars. Another title to seen was going back to a system that we were talking about earlier, the Atari 2600. The Atari Vault, it has 100 games from both Atari's DES and the arcade industry, as well as the Atari 2600 system. And basically the whole package costs $3.73. Another one from Bundle Stars is Binary Domain Complete Collection. Now, I may be wrong, but I believe that includes all of the DLC that you can currently buy for it, and it's $4.49. It is a slightly older game. It's a first-person shooter, but personally, I enjoyed it. Another deal that I've seen on there, which I am going to recommend you do not take advantage of, was for Deadlight Director's Cut. And the reason why I say this is because over at GOG.com, there is a different type of sale going on. It's called Pinata Madness, and if you spend like $4, you get a pinata and you get a random mystery game. I bought one just to see what I would get, and I ended up with a game called Expedition Conquistadors. And on the site itself, it actually has some really good reviews. I've never heard of it before, but it cost like $22 or whatever. If you're looking to buy it normally, but the prices of the games can go from anywhere from $6 up to $44.99, and I believe that games in that range would be like Shadow Warrior 2 and stuff like that. But Deadlight Director's Cut, you can get free during over the course of the sale. I know you've got at least over 24 hours to pick it up for free on GOG.com, so I would recommend doing that. I actually enjoyed Deadlight. It is like a sort of platformy zombie survival game, and like I said, I find it pretty good. It is a short game, but for free you really can't go wrong with it, and that's pretty much the sales that I have this week.
Cool. Any other sales you guys know about? Arebus and Albondiel?
Nope. There's a new game, Fire Emblem Warriors, coming out that you can pre-order.
Nice.
Pre-order and get half your achievements for free.
If you pre-order it, you get half the achievements and pre-done for you.
Highly encourage people to check out the original StarCraft game. It is absolutely fun, even if you're not into RTSs. If you're a gamer and value pinnacles of gaming, StarCraft was pretty much unanimously the top RTS of its time. That and Age of Empires 2, I guess, but StarCraft was definitely the
even now. It's still
even now, but that game back then, before it had achievements, especially, was a fantastic game. And I'm not a huge RTS fan by any means, but that game is really good. Even if you just want to experience it, the campaign's good.
Yeah,
so
campaign's good. Yeah, absolutely. And the graphics are good. Like, they really remastered the game up to 4K. Yeah. So I mean, they did really well. Yeah. Let's wrap this up, shall we? I think. Yeah, that'll do it for us. Thank you for everyone who tuned in to the podcast. Hopefully we put this topic to rest. If you want to email us questions or if you have suggestions for topics for us, email us at inevercastforthis@gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter, inevercast4, number 4, this. Facebook.com/inevercastforthis. We post stuff there fairly frequently, getting more likes all the time. And if you want to listen to us audio format podcasts, which you're likely doing right now, you can find us on iTunes and Google Play and Castbox and Stitcher. So you can find us on there, or inevercastforthis.libsyn, libsyn.com. And if you want to tune in live and see our beautiful faces in video, except for Albondiel with his technical issues today, but that's fine. You can
too pretty for camera, man. Too pretty for camera.
Yeah, you broke the camera for your prettiness. Twitch.tv/inevercastforthis. You can tune in here every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Other than that, I think that'll do it for us. Anything you guys want to plug before we go?
I would highly recommend emailing into the email. You get lots of your questions answered. It's how I got on the show. So I would recommend it to everyone.
So if you want to get on the show, email. Yeah, that's a great thing to do. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, no, I think that'll do it for us. So thank you everybody for those that tuned in, and we will see you all next Monday. Take it easy, everybody. say goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Twitch.tv/Arebus. Maybe I'll stream this week. Stay tuned.
I still don't have any friends, so I don't have any socials.
Oh my! Oh yeah. So now I have Twitter. If you want to follow me, Twitter at Keltharr. So
If anyone wants to give me WoW gold or mounts, I'm free for the or achievements. I'm ready to take them.
All right, and that'll do it for us. See you guys next week.